Now, this was a really fun shoot because this was not about lighting the face. This was about lighting a product display on a tabletop. It's for an ancient tea company. The company has been around since 1717, so it's like over 300 years old. So very precise, very clean visuals. And that's what they asked for. And so I'm going to show you how we got there. I'm very in love with this shoot just because of the beautiful colors and the minimalism. These are the two frames we're going to look at because they actually are both lit from the exact same lighting setup. There wasn't anything, nothing was changed. So yeah, this was the pour shot of the matcha latte, and this was the overhead of her stirring it. I'll show you in the video here how we did our rigging and setup. It's just easier. I didn't actually take any BTS photos. So first thing you're going to notice is black, right? There's just a ton of negative fill everywhere that I don't have effectively useful light coming from. Okay, so if the part of the image is not in the shot or there's no useful light coming, I put neg up everywhere. And that just gives you an assurance of cleanliness. You can even see there's negative fill here, okay? And even here, we even put it up here on the side of the book light just to stop any spill from hitting the background, because some of this background is visible in the shot. And what we don't want, if you look here, you'll see here, what we don't want is this part of the floor where, because the bounce is just to the right here. We don't want this part of the floor way brighter than this part. And that's what would have happened if we didn't put up this negative fill right here. So let's stay here at the book light. Again, the book light's always the most important because that's our key, or sorry, the key light's the most important because that really has the biggest impact. We'll start in front. We have a grid on a 4x4 frame that's armed here with diffusion. Again, the grid is stopping spill from going behind the subject and polluting the back there. That is being hit by a book light. So that book light is a small rig, a 600X, and a 200X. So we had an array of 3 lights, all shooting into one bounce. It's only a 3x2 bounce. There's enough space that the photons are hitting every square inch of this bounce here. And what that does is it guarantees maximum softness, I mean, within reason, because what's going to happen is if it hits the top of the bounce, then you have photons coming this way and this way. And if it's the bottom of the diffusion, you have photons going this way and this way, and everything in between, right? And what that means is the more directions the photons hit the subject of the person, or the subject's face, right? The more directions those come from, the softer the light. Because think of a wrinkle, right? If you have a wrinkle on your face, but there's light hitting it from every angle, that wrinkle disappears, or it relatively disappears, versus if you have light just coming from one tiny source. So that's the virtue and the function of the book light. And we wanted a lot of power. I knew it was going to be sunny outside, and I just said, let's just get as much power as we can. So that was very impactful. And then you can see here we have a giant skylight. So they're just putting neg up to block that from, because our subject's literally standing right here where Nils is. Her head's right here. So if we didn't block that, we're just going to get so much pollution here, and that was just no bueno. So they did a great job setting that up. And then 2 beautiful little additions were an F21C, and I have a newer light mat over here. And they're both just coming up. And if you look here, you'll see a beautiful edge light on the fabric there. You see that little light right there? That little light coming up, hitting her fabric right there. That just gives us that little bit of extra beauty. You know, I really, really loved how those worked. And then this was put here as a bounce. So we put this here, A, to stop any light pollution coming, but B, to bounce a little bit of light back onto the subject. Okay, so let me just go through here. Let me see if there's anything else. You can see how everything is gridded, right? If you look here, you'll see there's a grid on the bounce. and there's a grid on these. And what that again does for us is it ensures that we have maximum control of the levels here on the floor behind her. And this floor was actually quite hot. It was very, very bright. And on the day I remember specifically asking, I want to see here, yeah, we hadn't got there yet at this point, but we brought the blinds down and we covered these windows strategically as much as we could back here to just lower the level on the floors here to a point that it wasn't like so bright that it competed, but it was bright that it still looks realistic, like a sun is hitting. But that's, for me, like, that's a beautiful balance right there, that intensity of light. But it took a whole extra 5 minutes. We really had to dial in the blinds to get this. Yeah, shot on the Komodo with, as you can see here, just bear with me. Yeah, so it's Komodo with a CP2 lens, just simple camera setup, nothing fancy. But the lighting, I was really, really happy with how it turned out. And doing a setup like this, you set it once and you basically forget it. I think we did 3 different angles. We did this one, we did the tabletop, and then we did like a close-up, like where it was like close like this and the camera was roving following the action, right? And all 3 of those used the same lighting setup. So we just set it up once and then just used it for the whole day. Yeah, and then just bear with me. We had this spotlight, and I don't remember why, because it wasn't doing much. We probably actually even aimed it onto the floor because we don't even see it at that point. But that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and that's how we did this tabletop product display video.